Hello. I am known as the Story Master, and today I have a story for you that you may think you know, but be prepared to be delightfully surprised. It was very near Christmas time when a boy and a girl came home from church one Sunday talking about the mean old innkeeper. The father said, wait a minute, what mean old innkeeper? And the children told him the story they had heard about Mary and Joseph searching for a place to stay and being turned away at the inn. Oh, well, now, said the father, it doesn't necessarily follow that the innkeeper was mean to them. But the son protested. Dad, he wouldn't let them stay, and they really needed a place. Now the father, being older and a businessman himself, said, Son, there have been lots of times when I wanted to help someone but couldn't, even times when I wanted to help the person that I couldn't much more than the ones who got there first. That stinks, said the daughter. I agree, said the father. But it happens. And he did find them a place. Yeah, but in a stinky old stable, said the son. Well, how do you know, asked the father, that the stable wasn't his very favorite place? Huh? And then he told them this story. The Keeper at the Inn. Illustrations by Stephanie Lohman, and written and read for you by Steve McCurdy. My name is Jaifus. I'm a very old man, and I've a story I think you should hear. Of an evening like this a very long time ago, even before I was born, my dear. Yes, it began a long, long time ago beneath a rock near the bottom of a hill. A young man and woman started this story, and the best part of it continues still. Finding no neighbors in that region with nice houses ready to move into, the young woman said, Let's live in the shelter of this stone. And the young man started building a lean-to. As the years went by, he added strong walls to keep the wind and the weather out. And they decided their family could prosper there. Oh, of that they had very little doubt. Well, I was born inside that tiny space, and my father, quick, smart, and able, made a cradle for me from the cow's feeding trough. You see, our house was also our stable. All my brothers were born and cradled there as well. I thought we'd live there all our lives till we died. That all changed when my sister Eliana came along, because this is how she cried. Ah! Oh, it was dreadful. Now, as crowded as it was in that little room, it was even more so with the animals in. So Eliana gets the credit for our new living space. The building of the house began to begin. My father was a wonderful builder man whiz, with tools and with stone and with wood. When it came to mechanicals, everyone agreed my father was great, not just good. He built a house with 4 rooms, one for him and our mother, one for all of us boys, with Eliana's far from any other. Now the room that we cooked, ate, and lived in was wonderful, open and large, room for father to build his furniture and for mother to firmly take charge. The strong, thick walls he built withstood every season's test, but Eliana's were the thickest, thicker by far than all the rest. It's a fortress for our little princess, Mom and Dad would say with pride. If the truth be known, it was so they could be alone. They couldn't hear her when she was inside. Father then began building furniture for all the folks around our town. Mother took to making their clothing. Seems like we always had people around. Our main room was built out larger. Rooms got added here and there. Visitors passing through would ask to stay. We'd have folks sleeping everywhere. Once a man admired our wide front door. Father showed him how he'd carefully cut it in. "You're a great builder of houses," said the man. "Houses?" said another. "I thought this was an inn." Father had never stopped to think about it. He'd just done the things he knew how to do. "These folks say we're an inn," he said to Mom. "I suppose so, dear. Hurry up. Lots to do." "Put more water in the soup, Eliana," Mother would shout from the greeting door. "We need more meat, more meal, more bread." Father'd say yes. There's always room for more. I think people were friendlier then than now. I just remember how my father would say, "Yes, I know it's inconvenient. You sleep right over here. Son, try to never turn a lonely soul away." My brothers grew up and they married. Eliana too, they all moved away. But since we didn't have their gifts and talents, my wife and I decided we'd stay. We took care of my parents as they grew old. When guests were in, we cared for them as well. And on nights when it was just the four of us home, then old innkeeper stories we'd tell. When my parents passed on, I wasn't sure what to do. But my wife stood in the big, hearty kitchen, and with hands on her hips, she said, "Jaifas, get busy. You're the innkeeper now. It's tradition." As the years went by, we fared well enough, though newer inns had emerged here and there. My wife's wonderful cooking wore out 3 cooking pots, while all I wore out was my hair. Then a decree went out from Caesar Augustus. Seems all the world was to be taxed. Every man must return to his home to be counted. Well, that meant guests. Quick, all the chairs must be waxed. In anticipation of my imminent wealth, I made all the rooms ready as could be. Then all my brothers arrived, with their children and wives, all expecting rooms here and for free. Eliana and her lout of a husband, too. I had 2 paying guests and 29 relatives, all wanting rooms with a view. Why should we pay to stay in our own home? Well, they were right. There was nothing I could do. All day long I turned them away, lonely, dusty travelers, desperately eager to pay. If my family would have shared, I could have still made a go. But share my space? Are you mad? Heavens, no. At sunset he came and knocked on my door. "Go away, I'm full up, I can't take any more." "That's too bad," he said, as his hand rubbed the frame. "All the inns are full. Everywhere the story's the same. But this workmanship is fine. I wish we could have stayed." Then he turned to press on. The sun would not be delayed. Then I saw his tired little donkey, and on it his tired little wife. I had never wished I was an only child so much in my entire life. And then I had an idea. "Young man," I said, "I do have a spot. Now, I warn you, it's not fancy or fine. But if you'd care to have a look, I can take you round back." And he said, "Let's see what you have in mind." Now, I was born and raised in that stable. All my family had lived there as well. But the look on his face spoke loud and clear. This was not what he wanted. I could tell. "I have nothing better to offer you, son. You're welcome to this, if you dare. Perhaps your young wife could rest here for a bit while you search for something better elsewhere." and I believe that is precisely what he would have done. But it was her words that then changed his mind. "Let it be, Joseph. This will serve our needs. Thank you, innkeeper. You have been very kind." I fell in love with that child right there on the spot. There was little for her I would not have done. I spread fresh straw to make things look nice, but in moving the manger, it came all undone. "Mary, I can repair this if he has a few tools," said the young woman's strong, tender man. She looked to me. I opened a door. My father's tools I placed in the carpenter's hand. With him busy at work and she settling in, I began to feel better and right. They were as comfortable as this keeper of the inn could make anyone on this Bethlehem night. Duties in the house called me to task. We fed them all and got them to bed. But the peace wouldn't last. A pounding came on my door, and the voice life had taught me most to dread. "Jaiaphas," she cried as she pounded, "we can't sleep with this light that's so bright." "Deduct your discomfort from the fee you won't pay me," I shouted back. But wouldn't you know, she was right. I ran outside to look into this brightness and to escape my sister's infernal din, and a star hung high, lighting all of the land, but it shone down brightest just back of my inn. I turned to go investigate this mysterious showing of light, when 600 shepherds came rushing down the lane. Okay, it was 5, but it seemed like more in the night. One of them grabbed me up by my lapels. Another yelled, "Where's the child that we seek?" "Children," says I have an inn full right here. They're yours for the asking, sweet and meek." And then they told me the story of the angel's words, singing praises and heralding on high, of the Christ child born in a stable that night. I knew of a stable very nearby. Well, they rounded the house much faster than I. I had to push my way through, begging, "Please." But when I arrived, I was in for the shock of my life. All the shepherds were there, on their knees. The most remarkable child that ever I'd seen. A most remarkable story to tell. There, in the manger that my cradle had been, a miracle drove me to my knees as well. For I don't know how it is that I knew what I knew, but I knew. He was the King, you see. The King had come into the world, into my very world, and he'd come just exactly like me. "Never turn a lonely soul away," said the girl. "Dad, he was a nice man." "Yeah," said the boy. "He was sharing his very favorite place." "I really like that," said the girl. "Yeah, me too," said the father. So, not quite the story you thought it was. Until next time, I'm the Story Master, and Merry Christmas. The ebook, audiobook, and hardback versions of this classic Christmas fable are available at keeperattheinn.com.